Hey. Okay, now we got to check and make sure the sound. Hey, we're good. And actually kind of quick today. Okay. Now that we get all that done. Mayang buntag, mayang hapon, mayang gabi, no matter where you are in the world. That we're actually going to include Chikka-Chikka in this week's Chikka-Chikka in today's live stream. Cindy is actually doing some things with Pumpkin, and those two will be joining us here in a few minutes. And we figured that would actually allow a few people to get logged in and join us when we come on. But yeah, we're still working on finding that new normal here. This week we had a few things go on. We had a couple of birthdays, and we just never got to Chikka-Chikka. I think we're going to start doing it on Monday night local time, Monday morning, Monday afternoon local time, instead of trying to do it Tuesday morning, so it's posted Tuesday night. I posted Tuesday night, and that's Wednesday morning for most of the viewers, or at least any viewers in the U.S. or Canada. I think I've actually got a Mexico viewer every once in a while too. But anybody over in that part of the world, that it's Wednesday morning, and that way you've got all day to watch it. So and it does seem to help a little bit in view time. But I've been trying to do them on Tuesday mornings since Chana's birth, and it just hasn't been working. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to schedule it for Monday mornings and actually put it in my schedule to do it Monday morning, either right after or shortly after live stream. And that way it'll get done while everything's still fresh in my memory to do it, and I'm in a YouTube frame of mind. But yeah, that life's just been kind of going on here. Yesterday, or a couple days ago, I did an office live stream about the openings and stuff like that here, and it's looking like it is kind of opening for fully vaccinated foreigners, returning Filipinos, and spouses, so on and so forth, can come in if they're unvaccinated. So you want to put a quarantine, like an 8-day quarantine and all this good silliness. But even from yellow list countries, you can still come in and do the quarantine and stuff, whether you're returning or visitor. Or returning Filipinos can come in even from yellow list countries, but do the quarantine, and that includes spouses and stuff like that. So if you're willing and able to do I think it's 5-day quarantine, 6-day quarantine, I'm not exactly sure, but if you're willing and able to do that, at this point it is getting more open to where you can. Now, on the flip side of that, there is some strong talk, and a lot of it's going to have to be a wait and see thing, that after December 1st, when all that does start opening, they're going to start requiring vaccination cards for malls, public market, public gathering, basically anything out in public, restaurants, the whole freaking 9 yards. And so again, it's the Philippines taking 2 steps forward, 1 back, and 1 to the side. That there's moments I feel like I'm doing a freaking Texas 2-step with the regulations here, and as badly as they're changing and alternating, and like I say, it's It's getting crazy. Uh, and some of that is going to kind of factor in, how it levels out and what's going on is going to factor into whether or not we go back and when we go back and everything else. So that, yeah, because I guess they're doing it here. You say they're doing that in Australia that from the 15th of December on. That I get. I'm assuming you meant 2021. Uh, Here, the IATF is saying that they want to do it the 1st of December. But they're also saying that they need to finalize some of the rules and wording and all this other good stuff. So, is it going to be like most things here that they're going to procrastinate and move that date a couple more times? Yeah, I don't know. That it's kind of crazy. Yeah, why I did that is I had another guy that he frequently listens, but isn't always able to go back through and comment or read the comments. And he made reference that I'll frequently go back and comment on something, but not include the original comment. And so that's what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to read these comments a little bit more. That's why you'll see me doing this periodically. I hate wearing glasses. My optometrist back in the U.S. He knew that I hated reading glasses especially, and so I've got a prescription. I've got a very minor distance issue, and the way I'd phrase it is that I don't need glasses to see. I just need them to see well. But I do need glasses to read. And the optometrist, the first year he just prescribed reading glasses, and my vision got a little bit worse. Then he asked how well I've been reading them, and I'd be honest with you, Doc, I don't use them terribly often because they're just such a pain in the tush. And going, every time I try to read or something like that, I got to go find the stupid things and all this. So he said, fine, I can fix that. Here you go. Here's bifocals. You can get just the readings filled, or you can get it as a bifocal. And so ever since, I got some no line bifocals that time. And ever since, that's what I've done. It's a really weak distance vision, but it's got the readers incorporated into it. So I'd always just got no lines. And after I got here, they didn't do the that type of prescription. They said your distance vision is good enough, and so they just kept on referring readers. And so I'm kind of having to get used to readers. But going back to that original issue, I just don't wear the stupid things if I can figure out a way around it. I just saw Cindy call Mama, so I'm thinking she may be coming in here in a minute. I was kind of hoping she'd bring in Shauna for a minute, but she may be getting prepared so that way she can stay a little bit longer than she wants Shauna to stay, which I can understand and appreciate. Yeah, her chair, the extra chair here, I've wound up using as storage. So, and I kind of realized that, and now I need to go empty it real quick. Man, good be you, Jojo. How you doing today? So how's fuel prices in Georgia right now? I've been hearing some bad things about Phoenix area that fuel's inching up to $4 a gallon. That yeah, I got another friend in Pennsylvania. Oh, okay. All right. Salama. Thank you. Uh yeah, Cindy's got to do a diaper change. Wow, that's well, I when I yeah, David was saying that he's got them too that but doesn't like having to go back and two pair for different uses. That's what I liked about the ones that I had where the no line both bifocals is it was just one pair. I wore them all the time and I didn't have a problem with it. And I could just generally do one of those numbers and read stuff. And the thing I liked about the no line is by having that transition, a lot of times that, and part of the reason why I don't wear these doing these live streams much is because I have to get like this for them to focus because it's a fixed focus. Whereas the no lines, I could actually tilt my head just a little bit and get them to, find that sweet spot in that transition range to where things would focus at different distances. So yeah, the no lines were a great thing, and I'm thinking about going back and asking uh, if I can get a minor uh, distance vision to help correct a little bit of distance, uh, so I can use them again. Uh, so Joe, you're saying gas in Georgia is like $3.30 a gallon? That's not bad. Phoenix, last I saw, was like 360, 380, and a couple people have shown pictures of it being 3.95, $4 a gallon. Yeah, I'm seeing Cindy walking back and forth, so I'm wondering if she was done. But yeah, it's getting kind of crazy in fuel prices. I guess there's some talk of tapping into the strategic oil reserves, which I don't know if that's going to do good or not, but I don't see how the economy went this far south this fast. But yeah, nothing personal, Jojo. I didn't mean that in a bad way, but uh, yeah, it did. Yeah, the economy in a year it is went from being fairly decent to insane, and holy crap! Yeah, you've got it well above what Canada even does. Canada's a bit more expensive than the U.S. You'll see Dan Ford on here, and he talks about it in Canada, and it's pricey there. Oh, okay, yeah, because 247 per liter that's still not cheap, but it way better. Uh, yeah, I got to do a quick look here. I do need my glasses. Yeah, that's $1.71 US per liter. So yeah, that's almost $2 American per liter. So that puts it in the range of about $8, $7 a gallon. Yeah, that's way worse than Canada even. Canada was like $5, $6 a gallon last time I saw Dan post. You have sales on gasoline. Uh, Other than an occasional like a new gas station opening or something like that, I don't think I've ever seen it regularly go on sale. But there again, in the U.S., a lot of these places that they have fuel stations tied into uh, their store cards. So like a lot of grocery stores, if you have like $1,000 worth of groceries in a month, uh, that they have like 10 cents a gallon or something, like, that they have a promo that you can take off on it. But that's typically good for one fill up. So you generally try to make it count. They hated me for a long time. I had a Dodge Ram Charger that had a 38-gallon fuel tank. I made that fill up go. Yeah, I just got cigarettes here in Cebu, or here in here in Cebu. 2,385 pesos for 2 cartons. Uh, oh, yeah, at today's exchange rate, 2 cartons works out to $47. Holy crap! Jojo was saying cigarettes were $7 a pack in Georgia, and David was saying that's $25 in New Zealand a pack. That's beyond insane. That's 1731 US. Yeah, that's beyond insane. Now, David, yeah, because JoJo's got a kind of a right comment. $25 a pack. Now you are talking about a pack of 20 individual cigarettes, correct? Because that's like some serious syntax on that one. Uh, that's insane. Wow. How bad is booze? How bad is a 6-pack of decent beer? Uh, yeah, JoJo, you ain't lying on that one. That the next moonshine is definitely going to be cigarettes. And it's not that hard to grow tobacco. It's not. It grows pretty much anywhere. They grow a lot of tobacco here in the Philippines, and it's a decent cash crop here. Not anywhere near what it is in other locales, but it's a decent cash crop here, and it grows fairly well and easily. I guess my grandfather used to grow tobacco a little bit, except he made it into tobacco, the chewing tobacco somehow, and I'm not sure how. But that was long before my time. Uh, but yeah, I've heard a lot of farmers up north that they grow tobacco in the summer is just a small garden crop, dry it, and that's what they put in their pipe most of the year. Uh, I didn't realize it, but it tobacco for a commercial crop is insanely regulated in the U.S. Uh, that I was watching a YouTube video the other day about it, and it's pretty insanely regulated on tobacco to be commercially grown. And so you can grow for personal use, personal consumption, all that good garbage. Uh, but yeah, and I think they get it. That they have to get permits from ATF, the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearm, to grow tobacco crop for commercial sale. And you're kind of limited on how much you can grow for personal use. But yeah, your personal use isn't restricted, but or is limitedly restricted. Now the 15 bottles of 330 milliliter for $28. That's beer, right? Because a half liter of Jim Beam Black Label is $47. I'm not a big Jim Beam drinker, but I think that's kind of expensive even for the States. And 28 is a little bit high for a half rack for a 12 pack. 28 would normally be about what you'd pay for a case, a 24 pack. But yeah, that's. I would ask how inflation's going in New Zealand, but it seems standard prices are bad enough. Have you been noticing much inflation down there? Holy crap. Dude, you need to get here. You, you need to figure out how to get here. You can't afford to live in that country. I didn't realize New Zealand was quite that pricey to live. Are wages like insanely high down there? Uh-oh. We have a special guest star on their way.
I need to change her diaper. Hi! Okay. Ouch. Jenna. Jenna, Papa, you're looking at
Here. How you doing?
Oh, hiccup.
Somebody had the hiccups.
Okay.
She's lifting her head completely out.
Yes, she does. Okay. Hi, everyone. Let's get started because I need to feed her.
Somebody's very cool. that you're going to have to excuse us. We're not ignoring comments, but we are going to go through Chikka-Chikka kind of quickly, give everybody an update of what's going on. Good God. How do you afford to live there? That's not a rhetorical question. That's actually kind of serious. But we're going to go through Chikka-Chikka, and we'll answer all the questions afterwards. And so now I know exactly where we left off at.
Okay.
So we're going to skip down from the Philippines because you already know where we're from and all that good stuff.
Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, hi everyone. Hi everyone. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, someone's still figuring out life in general, let alone what's going on for internet. But we're going to get to make fun of her when she's like 14, 15 years old and embarrass the snot out of her. But that's what parents do, because this is what baby's doing currently. This is our revenge for this.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So what's been going on?
Figuring out being a mom.
Yeah,
Try to do a routine. Like she normally, I change diaper 6 to 7 times in a day or more.
we were figuring out a couple, 3 changes a day.
Or 4.
It's been a while since I had a kid, so I didn't remember for
I just
sure.
change her because she pooped. So I change it because she will cry.
She's actually a really mild-mannered kid.
Yeah.
We are severely impressed. Come here.
You want to be a Papa? Papa. Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Chana.
Hi dear. Hi dear, Miss Chana. Yes, you kind of need to excuse us a little bit. We're having fun. Oh, now you're with Papa. You're looking at Mama. The entire time you were with Mama, you were looking at Papa. Can you see you? No, I can't see that far yet. Papa went back to Sabunga.
Yeah. You're hungry.
He just went back for the day. I guess she was happier with Mama.
You're happy with Mama. I love you.
Uh,
I love you.
Tomorrow night we're actually going to an expats Thanksgiving. The expats are having a get together for the American Thanksgiving, which is Thursday. Tomorrow. Yesterday was Juju's birthday,
Yes.
the merchant marine, and
Yeah, we got cake.
we got a cake for him. And then tonight is Gemler's birthday, the other brother,
Middle brother.
the middle brother. That he's
So-
actually staying next door. That his wife is pregnant,
Yeah.
and she's due literally any day now.
December 7th.
So they've been staying here in Cebu for a little bit, and for a few reasons, they rented the apartment next door for a month. And she should have given birth by then, and be through the initial checkup and all that fun stuff. If not, they'll just move in here for a few days, for a little bit until I do. But
Sorry. Get it scratched.
yeah, I went down to pick up laundry at the wash and dry. We talked about it, and Mama was doing a couple hours worth of laundry every stinking day. And so Cindy and I are going back to our clothes and our bedding. We're running down to the laundromat and getting that done. But Mama wants to do Chana's clothes, and that's cool. And so that way, and they do their own clothes. And so that way that it's not every day for a couple hours, and it frees her up a lot more. And you guys have they started out doing every other night.
Yes.
And then you were kind of wore out even doing that. And so Mama tried to take Chana every night, and then Mama was wore out. And so they decided every other night's a really good thing. And that way each one of them gets a night on doing it. And the night Cindy's got it, her and I will watch them and be up throughout the night. And the nights Mama and Papa watching her, and Mama and Papa will be up watching it. And it's not that bad. We use the disposable. We use disposable just for a bunch of reasons. That it's the it's the most convenient. I wish there was a better way that they treated this stuff instead of the landfill situation, but it is what it is, and there isn't a good in between. And someone went back to sleep. Uh, we're not ending the live stream, but from Toe Chip for the Chikka-Chikka
Chikka-Chikka.
portion,
Mabuhay. I cannot go down. Bye-bye. Thank
Hello.
you. Love you.
Yeah, it was kind of a short Chikka-Chikka this week. And I really appreciate her doing that with us. Hey, I'm just going to close this door. That I like the concept of the cloth, but the just the sheer convenience of the disposable is way too much. And so yeah, for that reason alone, that we're using the disposable. Definitely, excuse me, definitely. Now I've got the hiccups. Definitely not a price reason. Even here, diapers are not cheap. Oh, she closed the door. I was going to ask her what was the last diapers we paid for. That we will generally get them from Landers, and we try to get enough to last a month, which means like 4 or 5 packs. And we will get those and come back and that way. When I was a kid, cloth diapers were done. My nephews, which are 6, 7 years old, younger than I am, disposable was the thing at that point. That I was born 65. So mid 60s, the cloth was still the thing. And then it really wasn't until the 70s that disposable got to be a thing. And then by the 90s, when I had my son, that they were pretty much standard. And because the ex and I actually looked at doing cloth diapers, and he just couldn't find them. That they just weren't around. And we did find a set, and they were horribly expensive. And so he just said, I guess we'll use Pampers. And so that's what we wound up doing. And now with Chana, we can find cloth diapers here. They aren't terribly expensive. But if she's going through 5, 6 a day, yeah, just trying to keep up with that kind of wash is a challenge. And just the hassle and headache of it, and then getting the rubber bands to go on over it, and the leaks that they have, and this and that and the other thing. It just disposable, unfortunately, just through sheer convenience factor, is way worth the expense. And fortunately, her and I, especially here living here in the Philippines, money isn't the. I don't want to say it's not a worry, because money. I don't care where you are, money's always a worry, but it's doable for us. That it's more than doable. That I don't know if I grew up. I don't think I grew up on breast milk. And I don't know if I grew up on cow's milk or formula, but where we were at, my parents had moved into the city at that point, and that they moved in December, and I was born in April. But at that point, you still got daily milk deliveries in that area. And so, you had the glass bottles and the thing out on the porch, and the milkman would, if he saw you around, would generally ask, or you left a note with what you wanted the next day. And it it was way simple to do that. And in the mid '80s, in Syracuse, New York, there was one dairy. It was kind of pricey to do it, but there was one dairy that still did do milk delivery. And '80s, by the late '80s, regulations and stuff had came in and changed enough that they finally stopped doing the delivery. But they still did have the glass milk bottles, the returnable milk bottles. As a matter of fact, back in Phoenix, I've still got a pair of the half-gallon milk bottles, and the little crate or the little carrier that they had for them. Hey, Mr. Daniel, how you doing today? You'll have to check out from about 25 on that. Little Shauna was in here, and we had a real quick Chikka-Chikka. Now, you set your clocks back, didn't you? Yeah, because I started a little bit late. I started about 9:10, 9:15. Got to remember, Philippines doesn't do the daylight savings thing. So yeah, like on the East Coast, we're 11-hour time difference, not a 12-hour time difference now. The time difference is moved an hour. Hey, David Brum, if you're still here, does New Zealand do daylight savings? Because November 7th, that the U.S. and Canada and those countries did the daylight savings, and they moved the clocks back. So the time difference between here and there changed. That now, are you on Daniel? Are you on Mountain Time, or are you on Pacific Time where you're at? That on my phone, I've got the different time zones marked out, and that was part of the reason for doing it at starting at 9 a.m. here, because it was kind of dinner time for everybody. Okay, so you're the same time as LA, Seattle, all those guys. Okay. So I forget which time zone. Arizona doesn't do the daylight savings time either. And so half of the year they're in one time zone, and half of the year they're in the other. So it must be on standard time right now then, because Phoenix and Denver are on the same time, which puts them in Mountain Time Zone. And Seattle's at 5:50. So yeah, that on your time zone, we're starting at 5 normally now, or trying to start at 5 now. I'm normally about 5-10 minutes late, so don't worry about being there exactly on time. Okay, so it's 13 hours. I thought it was okay. I was thinking it was 11 and 12, not 12 and 13 hours. Because you're the same time as New York, Philadelphia. Uh, yeah, I think all of Pennsylvania. That because that's that I've got a couple friends in Pennsylvania, and I got some friends from hometown in New York State. Uh, and that I figured the time starting at 9 a.m. here kind of put it okay for everybody back in the States, because on the West Coast that would either put it at 8 or 9 o'clock, and on the East Coast to put, or on the West Coast to put it at 5 or 6, and so that wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, that is one thing that's kind of cool here, and kind of it almost takes a little bit of getting used to. Uh, at 5:30 in the morning, sun comes up. At 5:30 at night, it goes down. And it doesn't matter if it's the first day of winter or first day of spring. It's pretty much 5 and 5. 5:30. 5:30 in the morning and 5:30 at night. Uh, but we're less than 1,000 miles from the equator. That I actually did that mapping one time, and yeah, Cebu is less than 1,000 miles from the equator. It's way closer than I thought it was. I want to say it's like 700, 800, something like that. But we're a big stone's throw from the equator, and especially with where you're at, Daniel, you got some, as far north as you are. You got some wild fluctuations in daylight and dark time. Yeah, you're coming up on where you've got about 5 hours of daylight and 20 hours of dark. Uh, I may be exaggerating some, but I don't think it's by awful too much. Uh, but there again, even from Arizona and Phoenix to upstate New York, where we were at, right by the Pennsylvania border, there's a noticeably significant time difference. Not time difference, but daylight difference. Yeah, we're 10 degrees north latitude. You can do the math if you want. And you see that, Jojo, that talking about the cold weather being hard on your arthritis and still being what's routinely thought of as a warm, humid state. Mountains can make a massive difference at those latitudes, because even in Arizona, you get up north into Flagstaff and they get some really bad snow. I-40 through northern Arizona is frequently closed because of blizzards and snowstorms. Yeah, 10 degrees above the equator is, I think it's roughly 600 miles. Yeah, that where you're at, you get some wild daylight swings. Not quite the Arctic Circle, but you're probably about as close to the Arctic Circle as we are the equator. Uh, and so yeah, that would make two major extremes. We do have a slight change. That there is a slight change, summer to winter in daylight here, but it's like maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Even in Arizona, it's a couple hours. It's a few hours worth of difference. Where you were at, it's a lot of hours worth of difference. That Jojo's saying about being 2,000 feet in elevation. Uh, you'll see this is our Philippines. That he's actually from Alabama, not terribly far from where you're at, that same region. That when you see him come on, you can definitely relate to each other. But yeah, that for the viewers that didn't know that there's actually ski resorts in Georgia. Jojo said they're not terribly far from where he's at, but yeah, that elevation here makes a big difference in temperature. But when you're starting out with a very, very hot, humid temperature, the few degrees, still puts it in the high 70s. But there again, Mama Papa, it's 75, 78 degrees, get cold and start looking for jackets. Because all they've ever experienced were here. That Cindy's first year in Arizona, that she got there in May 13th, in the middle of May, and in the following year, and I still tease her, 6 years later about this, but she very sincerely asked. So Arizona has like, how did she say that? So Arizona has like 3 months of winter or summer, and like 8 months of winter. And so a few of her other Filipino friends that have been through winters, and she's since been through some colder climates, and has begun to appreciate just how mild Arizona winters actually are. And she admitted she doesn't know whether or not how well she would be able to deal with multiple months of snow. That it's fun to visit, but she doesn't think she'd want to live there. Yeah, Google Daniel. Daniel just said that Philippines is 898 miles from the equator, and where he's at is 2,433 miles from the equator, or from the Arctic Circle. Also, you are quite a ways from the Arctic Circle still, and I think it's the Arctic Circle is where they define the 12-hour daylight darkness thing. The 6 months of daylight, 6 months of darkness. So yeah, you still do have quite a ways to go. You're about you're about double the distance, or a little over double the distance uh, from the Arctic Circle as we are the equator. So yeah, but still, that's way closer than we are. We're and that's even way closer than like Phoenix or some of the other places that people are at. And hey, Daniel, here's a good one for you to Google. What's the time difference, length of daylight difference between the first day of summer and the first day of winter where you're at? Yeah, Sky Valley Resort is a. Okay, you just answered my next question. It's the furthest southern ski resort in the U.S. Yeah, below that, you got to start getting down to the almost southern hemisphere. That are in the mountains down in the South America. And then at that point, I actually think you're in South America. You're in the southern hemisphere. Uh, so you not only get the the cold because of latitude. Dana may come at 1,610 feet where he's at elevation. So you're not only getting the cold because of the latitude, but also because of the elevation. Yeah, so it's got to be about 700 miles from Yeah, and depending on where you're at, uh, that you're placing the seep at 650 miles from the equator. Daniel's up by Moab Wall, and I could see that making up the 250-mile difference. But yeah, because I was thinking Cebu was 800-900 miles from the equator. Because I think Manila is right about 1,000 miles exact. And by right about, I mean less than 100 miles or thereabouts from the equator. But yeah, that most of the Philippines, and we have, like I say, 5:30 in the morning and the sun comes up. 5:30 at night, it's gone. Uh, which is kind of nice, but I'll be honest with you, I kind of miss the changing of the seasons here too. Uh, but at the same time, that I got things that you can kind of plan your day a little bit better, more consistently here too. Uh, and I do like the sunrises and sunsets all over. That you haven't got to be up at the no pun intended, but you haven't got to be up at the crack of dawn to to go see a sunrise, or be up way late to see a sunset. Uh, Thinking about going into the mountains one day and setting up a camera. Uh, Leave here at like 3 o'clock in the morning and get up there and set up a camera and do some morning over the uh, both sides of the island and see. And they're far enough apart to get decent photos. I'm gonna have to do one day and one a different day. But I've I've thought about this. I've worked with it, and I'm gonna start treating Phil's to Phoenix, the YouTube and the whole 9 yards more as a business, and start trying to do this, like you would to run a business, and start going at it a lot hotter and heavier. Uh, with getting some of the gear used and learning to use it better, learning to edit these videos better and stuff like that, and basically do you know uh, 5 to 8 hours a day focused on doing uh, Bills to Phoenix type stuff that I want to do. But by the same token, a lot of that's going to be going out shooting videos, going out having fun, doing things that I want to do anyhow. And so this one, it kind of gives me a license to go do that. And two, it means that I need to step up my game in doing it. Uh, for a while, I was starting to post motovlog videos on the other channel, and I ran into some issues. China was coming and all that good stuff, and it just fell by the wayside. And so I need to get back in and start doing that more as a business. But then you're not doing 5 hours editing a video. You're not doing 5 hours video editing. You're doing 4 or 5 hours going out and having fun shooting videos. You're doing 4 or 5 hours going out doing photography and crap like that. But yeah, you do come back in and one day you are spending 4 or 5 hours doing editing. The photos that I just posted on the Flickr link, I did about 3 hours worth of editing on those. and they're not great edited photos, but I did maybe 30 minutes worth of shooting on it. And so, and a lot of it is I got to go back and learn these programs way better. When I was doing a little bit more regular editing, that the process went a lot faster. And it's like anything else you do. The more you do it, the quicker you get at it. Well, and like I say, Daniel, the trying to do the few hours a day thing, uh, as you get better at it, that's exactly what you will doing. Uh, One of the YouTubers that I watch, Matty Hapuya, that for about 2 months he was doing a daily lifestyle vlog on his channel, and it was just a personal challenge he did to himself. And he figures he spent about 2 to 3 hours a day shooting and editing. And the shooting portion was broken up throughout the day. And that afternoon, that evening, he'd spend about an hour editing. But he is a professional editor, so he can do a lot of this editing way quicker and better than I can probably ever hope to. But again, it goes back to if it's something you do regularly, you can do it. Uh, Whenever I do crap to cars, I knew what I was doing, but I didn't do it frequently enough that a lot of the mechanic tricks I didn't know. And so I had to figure them out. And then the next time it became a little bit easier. But you got a new car and you had a new bag of tricks to learn, and the learning curve kind of reset. But by the time I got rid of the car, I could usually go through and come close to matching what a mechanic did until I got a different car. And then I wound up having to go back and start from scratch. And a lot of times things you figure out along the way. I had an S10, a 99 Chevy S10 4x4. And I spent 4 hours trying to change spark plugs on that thing. It was a V6. And mechanic did it, and, garage did it in like 45 minutes. And so I'm sitting there, what in the world did you do different? And they were laughing. And what they found to do is on both one side, the motor mount, put it on put a jack underneath it and jack the motor up just a hair. And you can get a socket in there is a straight shot versus having to, cluster flock that I was trying to do with it. And it's just stupid crap like that you pick up over time. And bottom line, I wasn't going to put it through that kind of my stuff through that kind of abuse. And so after that, I just let them do spark plug change whenever I wanted to. And I wanted them getting the E3 spark plug so that they didn't have to be changed. And that's when I switched over to using E3 spark plugs on pretty much anything that I ever had after that. Well, Daniel, it's going to be hard for me to do with a baby. And that's part of what I'm trying to figure out is what kind of time do I have and what do we need to do? Because although Cindy is a licensed driver, that she's not a driver here in the Philippines. And so anytime somebody needs to be driven somewhere, either they wind up calling a cab or I want to drive it. A lot of times that they call a cab without letting me know that they're calling a cab and just go. Which I don't mind that's between them and theirs. But at the same time, I remind them, I don't mind. I kind of enjoy helping you guys out. Please, let me know. And Papa really enjoys going and taking the tricycles. No, actually it's not. It looks like it. It might be in the next 5 minutes, but it's not currently. But it's finding out all kinds of things like that. Whether or not I'm going to have time to put in and how much time I will have to devote to doing Phil's to Phoenix stuff. And, bottom line, life matters, is going to take precedent. That we may wind up have to go down to PSA to get a copies of the birth certificate. We might be able to do it online. Starting tomorrow, she's going to start checking whether or not they're online. And if we got to go down, we got to go down. And that's probably going to be the better part of a day. And I won't ask her to do it and leave Shauna here and deal with Mama and Papa, Mama and Papa deal with it. If anything, I'll snag Papa and go down, and him and I can go do it. Papa gets a priority lane because he's a senior here. What video editing program do I use? That for a multitude of reasons, mainly because when we first started doing it, we got the student discount because Cindy was in college. But I use the Adobe Suite that includes Premiere Pro, and it's a subscription software. Currently, it's kind of pricey, but I've already gotten pretty well used to it and do like it. And it's not insanely expensive, although, like I say, it's fairly pricey. But I do like everything I can do with it. And I don't feel like I have to go back through and relearn another program. And that also includes Photoshop, Lightroom, and a bunch of other. I use Adobe Audition a lot to edit the audio tracks. It does a really good job taking that stupid fan and some other things like that out without destroying the voices. It's got this feature called ducking. If you've watched any of my moto vlogs, that a lot of times I'll leave the moto vlog running, the volume in it to catch different things. But I'll also do an amazing Philippines thing and do a narration to it as well. And then sometimes I'll have music in the background instead of the track. And what auto ducking is whenever I start speaking, the program realizes it and will lower the volume on the music track or whatever track's designated as a music track, whether it be an actual music track or the audio track from the video. Okay. Yeah, that's one thing on this stream. I don't have stream health, so I don't know whether or not it's a decent stream going out or not. And that's one of the shortcomings to using the YouTube Studio app to do a live stream. And it's like anything else, some of these have better features in one area and not others, and it's just kind of what you get used to. But that does kind of explain the question about is it raining there right now. That it's been looking like rain for a while now. And you use Magic, Dana. You use Magic Pro. That one of the other common ones I actually bought not too long after we got started, and started to use that and started to get a little comfortable with it. And I kind of ran to the limit of what I can do fairly quickly. And kind of enjoyed diving deeper into it. And it was not too long after that Cindy got into college, and that's when we found out that you can do the Adobe Student Edition, Student Teacher Edition, fairly inexpensively, and so we were doing that for a long time. And then after she graduated, that finally went out. So Oh, that would be freaking awesome, Jojo. That Jojo does really beautiful calligraphy. I do some of the basic lettering, and that's always what I've talked about doing calligraphy. But he does legit calligraphy, and so I kind of messaged him one day and asked him, hey, how much would you charge, or would you be able to do it? And I would love to get a Victorian style birth certificate for Chana to frame. And the only things I ask is that if you could somehow incorporate kind of like our, maybe not the logo itself, but kind of like the logo, to where you've got both the Philippines flag and American flag, or American and Philippines, or however, just to bring honor to both countries and both cultures. And that is something that I'm really looking forward to. And definitely no worries to it that's something that even if we had it today, I'd have no place to put it, and I would be so terrified of trying to temporarily put it somewhere that I wouldn't want to do that either. So yeah, if it's this spring, I'm not worried at all about it. Daniel said he's got to get going. I haven't heard from David, so I'm assuming that he's picking up family. He has to pick up family quite frequently too, and so I know he kind of diddy bops in and out. But I do notice it's been just over an hour, and I do try to keep these down to no more than an hour, just to respect you guys' time, and I appreciate you showing up the way you guys do. But from Toad Chip Compound, that's about it for today. I will try and get out and do I will get out tomorrow morning and do a walking live stream from somewhere. Hopefully more than just a neighborhood. But for today, from Toad Chip Compound, Mabuhay.